Hey, welcome back. Today, as you read the title, we're going to talk about sound design in your animation, and I'm going to teach you different tips and oh my goodness. Today, as you read the title, we're going to talk about sound design in animation, and I'm also going to give you some tips and tricks that you can apply yourself into your work. Before we get to actually adding in sounds in our animations, we need to change the export settings in our work. In Adobe Flash or Animate CC, there's this Publish Settings tab. Go to it and look for where the sound settings are. You're gonna see the default MP3 options. We're gonna change those because the default setting for that is absolutely horrendous. If you're gonna use MP3, you can crank the bitrate up to 128 kilobits per second, disable the Convert to Stereo to Mono option, and set the quality to optimal. However, if you go to MP3, you can select another option that says RAW. That's the one I personally use and prefer because RAW means that the file will have lossless sound, which can be useful later, especially if you're gonna reuse your animations a lot for compilations and such. So if you go to RAW, you can change the frequency to 44 kilohertz, disable Convert Stereo to Mono, and that would be it. Those two main settings that I just described to you are key for optimal sound design in your work. And once you got that ready, it's time to finally add in the sounds. If you finish your animation but feel stuck when it comes to sound designing, that's totally fine. Happens to all of us. So the first tip I can give you is that you need to be careful picking the sounds. You need to find sounds that are fitting for the moment, for the setting that your characters are currently in. Us Genesis animators have the tendency to use classic Sonnet sounds for absolutely everything we do. And if you're looking for game accuracy and fidelity, that's totally fine, you do you. But there's something that you need to take care of, and that is that sounds can make or break a scene. You wouldn't want to use Genesis sounds for a very serious scene, would you? No, of course not. So if you're gonna use the Genesis sounds, you can try adding them to more laid back or comedic scenes, or you can try combining those Genesis sounds with other sounds, and the more realistic sounds can have a little bit more of a spotlight. And speaking of combining sounds, let's talk about it. Let's talk about combining sounds. You remember that one scene in Ratatouille where Remy takes a bite of cheese, a bite of strawberry, and then combines both at the same time to create a new flavor? That is exactly what we're gonna do with sound design. From here on out, don't be afraid to have a lot of layers made just for sounds. As you become more advanced, you can have a whole lot of layers for sound design, and that is totally fine. What I like to do when combining sound effects is that I can combine a bass heavy sound with a treble heavy sound to create something a lot more complete. For example, take the boost sound effect from Sonic Unleashed and take the Super Saiyan transformation sound effect. If we combine those two sounds, what do we get? Boom. That elevates the scale by a mile for your transformations. This is the part where sound design can get pretty tedious because we'll have to search through every corner of our sound packs to find sounds that not only fit for the moment we're doing, but also sounds that complement each other for the time we combine these sounds. You're gonna be looking like a producer in FL Studio trying to find the right snare for your beats. And one last thing about combining sounds. It doesn't necessarily have to be just two sounds that you can combine. You can take multiple sound effects and smash them together into one so you can create something like this. Now, this advice should be enough, but I need to warn you about one thing. Sound over design can be a real thing. What I mean by that is that when you add in sound effects in moments where it's honestly pretty unnecessary to add in some extra sounds, it's going to be such a waste of time and space for you. For example, when a character is running super quick, you won't add sound effects to every single footstep he does, or else it's going to sound very, very weird. Me personally, when it comes to footsteps, I add them in when they're not running so fast, when there's no music, or when a character is doing a hard landing. Otherwise, I don't use footsteps that much. And here's another tip. Don't be afraid to play with the different features that Adobe Animate has. If a sound is too loud, you can go to the properties panel of your sounds and click on the little pencil icon. That opens the door for so many things. You can lower the volume on the left channel, on the right channel, or both. It allows you to also create 3D audio. You can make audio move from the left channel all the way to the right and vice versa. The features that Adobe Animate brings you for sound design are actually pretty damn good. And don't even get me started on sound designing in external software like Premiere Pro. But I'm no expert when it comes to that. Sorry. But anyway, the 4 main tips I want to give you for sound design are the following. First, pick up sound effects that are appropriate for the moment that you want to convey. Second, combine different sound effects to elevate the scale of things. Don't be afraid to have a lot of layers dedicated to sound design. Third, try not to add sound effects in very unnecessary places. And 4, don't be afraid to play with the properties of your sounds to add in effects whenever you feel most convenient. And that's it for today's video. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and send this video to people who fucking suck at sound design. And that's it. See you later.